Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you all. Ah, we are here again. It's early in the morning, but that's okay. Early or not, this is the time. In fact, we are a little bit late considering that our holiday is over and all the free time is over. We are back in business. Welcome, guys. Welcome into the morning's live. This is Trev from Trevessence, and as always, a very special welcome to all the travelers who have been here with me, who continue to support my little channel. I sincerely appreciate y'all. And excuse me. And to those who are new here, a very special welcome to you. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Now, excuse me, guys. I've still got a little bit of the sniffles, but that can't stop the show from go on. So if you hear me sniffle, it's just a part of life. But anyway, we are going to be continuing with the reading of the book of Jeremiah. Now you all know how fired up I have been about Jeremiah. I have been absolutely fired up about this Jeremiah because Jeremiah has opened my eyes even further to the remark I had made earlier when we first started reading the Bible. I had said from earlier in the readings that there wasn't any consistency in the writings of these so-called prophets who all claimed that they had in fact spoken to God and God had told them this, God had told them that, God had been leading them, He had given them permission to speak to the people, to speak on behalf of the Jewish people, and the directions that they were offering to the leaders were directions that were coming straight from God. And I had been skeptical ever since I started reading, say, about Exodus. That's where I started to have questions pertaining to the validity of these people who claimed to be prophets. And as I have been reading and reading about all these different prophets, the questions kept coming more and more. But boy, when I got to Jeremiah, he blew everything right out the ballpark. Yes, he did. Because he has made some statements in his writings that has in fact justified my curiosity and my skepticism and my thoughts about these writings that are claimed to be inspired by God and truthful and without reproach, that's written in the Bible. But I am not here to convince anybody. I am not here to convince anybody to believe my convictions. Actually, I am here because I am feeding my curiosity, and I am here to feed my curiosity, and I have chosen to share that curiosity with you all. So come along with me. For those of you who joined me already and you spend time with me each morning as I continue on this journey of reading the Bible for myself, I thank you. And I hope that you are learning something from me doing these readings, because I know a lot of people can't be bothered with having to read the Bible for themselves. So I read, you listen, we all learn. And don't forget, guys, if at any time you hear me say something that you might consider to be questionable, and you have any literature that you could share with me, literature that would add some light, add some meat, some sauce, some gravy to mine, then don't be afraid to share it. Share it with me. I will be happy, because no one is a know-it-all and nobody knows everything. And reading is what they say makes a man. That's for another story. But anywho, I don't mind learning and expanding my knowledge, and it's always my pleasure to share it with you. All right, guys. So for those of you who are just coming, we are on the book of Jeremiah, and we are going to be reading Jeremiah chapters 39, I should say, and 40 this morning. So guys, get your book Bible or your Google Bible, whichever one, and let us read it together. Because you see, Jeremiah, I hear everybody say, oh, Jeremiah was one of the greatest prophets. Oh, Jeremiah was the prophet sent straight from heaven, straight from God. You all need to read before I tell lies, you know. I'm just telling y'all. You understand? Because I've been reading the book of Jeremiah in depth. And Jeremiah, my friends, was no great prophet sent from nowhere. Jeremiah was, in my humble opinion, based on the contents of the book of Jeremiah, Jeremiah was a Confederate working against the Jewish people on behalf of Nebuchadnezzar. Read it for yourself before y'all come for me. Jeremiah said God told him he mustn't marry, he mustn't have any kids. Jeremiah said God told him he must put a piece of linen around his waist, take off the linen after how many days, go bury it by the river Euphrates. Then he must go back and he must dig up the piece of linen. And when he look at the linen, he's going to see that it is marred, it is discolored, it is now dirty, it is now filthy, because it's been by the river, there's been water damage and all of that. And he said, God tell him, when you look at that piece of dirty cloth, that is how his people are, the Hebrew, the Jewish people. Which God tell Jeremiah that? That was Jeremiah setting the stage for what he would do after that to the Jewish people. Okay? So he set that stage to show them, you know, see this piece of cloth here? This piece of cloth, and you see how dirty it is? God say a son of steel. Why would anybody want to settle for somebody who is going to be loving you and hating you at the same time. Love and hate can never be friends. Okay? Jeremiah turned around, he told the people, God told him that the prophets before him were liars. God said they came in God's name and misled the people, because all the things they told the people to do that he said they were to do, he never said any of it. But all the customs and the religious rules that the Jewish people were following came from as far back as Moses. And now Jeremiah said God told him he never tell these people these things. He never tell them nothing about doing no sacrifices, and he never tell them to do sacrifices and burn incense. So therefore, you want to tell me that by Jeremiah saying that, he's invalidating every prophet and every all the religious behaviors of the people before him? Is that what I'm supposed to believe from the book of Jeremiah? That even Job, who believed wholeheartedly in his religion and in his God, so much so that Job burnt incense and made sacrifices for sins that he only thought his children would have committed. He didn't wait for his children to commit sins and come and say, Papa, you know, I did XYZ and I know it wasn't right according to our religion, so I need to go make some sacrifices in the temple. Job didn't wait for that. Job made sacrifices even before he knew his children sinned. So not telling me that by Jeremiah saying that God told him that these people were acting on a lie, that everybody before Jeremiah were liars and they should, whatever they said or did should be discarded. I don't know. Y'all talk to me. You all talk to me and tell me what you think. Tell me what literature you have come across that would qualify or justify the words of Jeremiah. When we last read the Bible, we saw where Jeremiah and Zedekiah were having that private conversation, and they were agreeing on a lie. Now remember, people said Jeremiah is the greatest, most honest, most all these things. But Jeremiah and Zedekiah were agreeing on a lie to say to the people, to the men, the princes, the Jewish princes. Okay? Who, for those of you who are just coming, who appointed Zedekiah to being the king of Israel? Let's talk reasonably. Zedekiah was appointed. Zedekiah did not inherit the throne from his father, like the other Jewish kings coming down had inherited the throne from their father. Zedekiah was appointed by whom? By Nebuchadnezzar. Who was Nebuchadnezzar to the Hebrews? Nebuchadnezzar was their enemy. So imagine the enemy coming in and appointing a king to rule over you. And you want to still believe that that king is going to be acting in your favor? No, that king is now a puppet on a string working for the enemy, but wanting to convince you that he's working for you. And who was Zedekiah having in his bosom? Who was he communicating with? Jeremiah. With Jeremiah. Jeremiah never prophesied anything that was favorable for the Jewish people. And that was why King Jehoiakim ripped up the scroll and threw it in the trash. Threw it in the fire. Because he said, Jeremiah ain't never prophesied anything favorable for the Jewish people. Everything he prophesied was in favor of Nebuchadnezzar. So if Nebuchadnezzar wasn't paying him, if he wasn't getting favors from Nebuchadnezzar, why would he prophesy everything in favor of the enemy and against his own people if he wasn't getting anything for it? You all think about that, because I've already come to my conclusion. But I know a lot of you don't like to hear it, because a lot of you like to say, oh, Trev, I go blaspheme and this and that because she has said this, and I ain't saying nothing. I am reading it from the Bible. It's not me say so, it's the Bible. And if you are in doubt, go read it for yourself and come to your own conclusion. But I'm reading it for myself, and I'm not afraid to come to my own conclusion all the way out in the world. If you don't want to hear what I gotta say, then you just know what to do. But anywho, I'm going to say how I feel. And what I've read, I'm going to analyze it as I see fit. But anywho, enough of me talking. So come, people, let us read. Wait, that on my phone. All right. We are on to Jeremiah chapter 39. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 39, guys. Kim, what's up? What are you doing? Jeremiah chapter 39 says, in the 9th year of Zedekiah, king of Judah, in the 10th month, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and all his army against Jerusalem, and they besieged it. And in the 11th year of Zedekiah, in the 4th month, the 9th day of the month, the city was broken up. And all the princes of the king of Babylon came in and sat in the middle gate, even Nergal-Sharezer, Samgar-Nebo, Sarshishem, Rabsaris, Nergal-Sharezer, Rabmag, with all the residue of the princes of the king of Babylon. And it came to pass that when Zedekiah the king of Judah saw them and all the men of war, then they fled and went forth out of the city by night, by the way of the king's garden, by the gate betwixt the two walls, and he went out the way of the plain. Verse 5 said, but the Chaldeans' army pursued after them and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho. And when they had taken him, they brought him up to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to Riblah in the land of Hamath, where he gave judgment upon him. Then the king of Babylon slew the sons of Zedekiah in Riblah before his eyes. Also the king of Babylon slew all the nobles of Judah. So here, Nebuchadnezzar turned around and slew Zedekiah's king. No, no, tell me. Remember, is Nebuchadnezzar who appointed Zedekiah to the throne, So imagine the king of Babylon appointing his chosen person to lead, to rule over the Jewish people. And then he turns around and slays him. Think about it. Think about it. Is Nebuchadnezzar who appointed Zedekiah, guys? Why would he turn around and slay the person he had appointed? Y'all know why? Because he was done using him. He appointed Zedekiah. Zedekiah was like like a Uncle Tom. So Nebuchadnezzar appointed him to rule over the Jewish people because you see, Nebuchadnezzar could use Zedekiah as a puppet on a string. And also with him working with Jeremiah. Those were the two prophets that Nebuchadnezzar had in the Jewish camp. The king and the prophet, two of the most powerful people. And he had them on a string where he could tell them what to do because, of course, yes, if he appointed Zedekiah, of course, he can tell Zedekiah what to do, when to do it. And then if he can get Jeremiah to prophesy and say, this is what is going to happen. The walls of the Chaldeans are going to come. They're going to break down the walls. And then Jeremiah undercover work with Nebuchadnezzar to tell the army when is the best time to come to knock down the walls and slay the people. And then Jeremiah clap and say, you see, my prophecy has come to pass. So that he would be more revered. And the poor people don't even realize that Jeremiah is a confederate for Nebuchadnezzar. But anywho, let me clear my throat and continue. Come with me, guys. Don't just listen to me, Get your Bibles. Don't just listen. I don't want you to be listening and being led like sheep to the slaughter. I want you all to get in the Bible, the good book, and let us read along. Right? Let us read along and let us talk about it. You understand? I do not endorse any religion or denomination. Not one. You understand? But because the Bible is so influential in just about every aspect of our life, I have chosen to read it out loud so that somebody else, anybody else, can learn from what I am reading. Okay? But let us continue. For those of you who are just coming, we are on to Jeremiah chapter 39. We're going to read verse 5. But the Chaldeans' army pursued after them and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho. And when they had taken him, they brought him up to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to Riblah, in the land of Hamath, where he gave judgment upon him. Verse 6. Then the king of Babylon slew the sons of Zedekiah in Riblah before his eyes. Also, the king of Babylon slew all the nobles of Judah. So, every noble person in Judah, all the descendants of David, all the scribes and the prophets and everybody who was considered to be anybody in Jerusalem, they were slain by Nebuchadnezzar. You know, see the setup? But let us continue. Verse 7. Moreover, he put out Zedekiah's eyes. He plucked out Zedekiah's eyes and bound him with chains to carry him to Babylon. Wasn't that the same thing the Philistines had done to Samson? Y'all remember when I read the story of Samson, that the Philistines had plucked out his eyes? What's up with this plucking out of the eyes? He had plucked out the eyes and bounded him with chains. Now here is the same thing Nebuchadnezzar has done to Zedekiah. I bet Zedekiah thought when Nebuchadnezzar appointed him to be king that it was a good thing, huh? That it was because Nebuchadnezzar liked him and was in favor of him. I bet that's what he thought. Yeah, that's what all Uncle Toms think. Right, AG? Bless up yourself. Good morning, Tim. What's up? How you doing? Good to see you. All right, so they pluck out Zedekiah's eyes and bounded him with chains to carry him to Babylon. And the Chaldeans burnt the king's house and the houses of the people with fire and break down the walls of Jerusalem. When me telling us say, when I say that to understand the current conflict in the Middle East, you have to go all the way back. You cannot pick sides. You should not pick sides because this war isn't new. This is just a more recent phase, but an old war. Because here in the book of Jeremiah, we are seeing the Babylonians come up and tear down the walls of Jerusalem. If you have been reading the Bible with me, you would have seen how many times the quote-unquote, the enemies around, meaning the Syrians, Arabians, Babylonians and all, have come up to destroy the Hebrew people, according to the Bible. And eventually they were successful in destroying the city, burning it down, slaying as many influential Jewish people as they could, and eventually taking over all the land that was at one time owned and ruled by King David and his descendants. And the Jews were driven out from the region. 1948, we only saw them going back because of the powers of the United Nations that re-established them back in the region. But they were there before. They owned lots and lots of land there before. King David established where Jerusalem was as a capital of Israel. Okay, so it's good to read before the jump and take sides. No side is there to be taken. Right, AG? Yeah. I'll tell you, my friend, most of the war, it's religious based. You understand? It's religious based. This is not new stuff. So, me as a modern person right here in this new world here, I'm not getting into that conflict. That no concern me. But I am here to read the history of it, where it came from, where it started. And trust me, it will never end. But with that being said, let us continue reading the Bible, because that's where we are getting our source from. We're not picking no information out of the air. And we are not picking any information just from somebody saying it. You understand? We are getting it out of the Bible, because that is where everybody else seems to not want to get their information from. So we are getting it from the source. So let us continue. So now Nebuchadnezzar has come with his entire army. He has taken Zedekiah, the king of Israel, who he himself had appointed to be the king. So now him take Zedekiah. He has plucked out Zedekiah's eyes. He has bounded Zedekiah to take him down to Babylon captive. He has slain all of Zedekiah's sons. That means nobody from Zedekiah's line will inherit the throne. He has also slain all the noblemen in Israel. Let us continue. Verse 8. And the Chaldeans burnt the king's house and the houses of the people with fire, and broke down the walls of Jerusalem. Then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive into Babylon the remnant of the people that remained in the city, and those that fell away, that fell to him with the rest of the people that remained. But Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, left the poor people who had nothing in the land of Judah, and gave them vineyards and fields at the same time. Why he left the poor people? But he took all the people who were strong and the people who were influential. He either slew them or took them captive. Don't that sound like a strategy to you all? I know some man don't want to admit it, but you don't have to admit it to me. I am reading what I am reading, and I am saying it as I see it here in the Bible. Because the poor people them don't pose any threat. The poor people are now afraid, because they see what Nebuchadnezzar has done to Zedekiah and the other noble people in Jerusalem. So they are now afraid. So you don't have to worry about those people, because fear has now gripped those people. They are not going to even try to reestablish Israel. So he just butter them up by giving them now vineyards to go work those vineyards, work those fields. But he slew the people who would be an imminent threat to him. Let us continue. Verse 11. Now Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, gave charge concerning Jeremiah to Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, saying, take him and look well to him, and do him no harm, but do unto him even as he shall say unto thee. What me telling you say? What me telling you? Did I tell you all that Jeremiah is working for Nebuchadnezzar? So here now that Nebuchadnezzar has slain all the noble people and everybody, hear Nebuchadnezzar say to Nebuzaradan, take Jeremiah. Do only good things to Jeremiah. Don't hurt Jeremiah. Don't hurt Jeremiah. Why you think he's enough to hurt Jeremiah? Because Jeremiah has been working for him, working against his own people, setting up the Jewish people for the overthrow by Nebuchadnezzar, an undercover spy Jeremiah has been claiming to be prophesying things that will happen when all along it's not a prophecy. It's not a blind prophecy that God is telling him anything, but rather it is a conspiracy. It is a plot that he's working on with Nebuchadnezzar to make these things happen to the Jewish people. And then he's claiming that God tell him. He's prophesying that these things will happen. A long time these things going on, people. Long time. Right, Farmers Hut? Blessings, my brother. How you doing? Bless up yourself. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Bless up yourselves. Welcome. Let us continue. Nebuchadnezzar says to Nebuzaradan, he says, take him. He's talking about Jeremiah. He says, take him and look well to him and do him no harm, but do unto him even as he shall say unto thee. So Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, sent, and Nebuchadnezzar, all of these Nebu names, Nebuchadnezzar, Rabsaris, and Nergal-Sharezer, Rabmag, and all the king of Babylon's princes. Even they sent and took Jeremiah out of the court of the prison and committed him unto Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, that he should carry him home. So he dwelt among the people. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah while he was shut up in the court of the prison, saying, go and speak to Ebed-Melech, the Ethiopian, saying, thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring my words upon this city for evil and not for good, and they shall be accomplished in that day before thee. But I will deliver thee in that day, saith the Lord, and thou shalt not be given into the hand of the men of whom thou art afraid. Verse 18, and this is the last verse of chapter 39 of the book of Jeremiah. For I will surely deliver thee, and thou shalt not fall by the sword, but thy life shall be for a prey unto thee, because thou hast put thy trust in me, saith the Lord. Saith Jeremiah. Jeremiah says, so the Lord not tell Jeremiah nothing. You understand? No, Lord not tell Jeremiah nothing. Nothing so. So he has claimed to have prophesied against the Jewish people. And eventually he caused their demise at the hands of Nebuchadnezzar. But Nebuchadnezzar spared him. He took out everybody else, but he spared Jeremiah. Ask your pastor why. The people them who are tell us that Jeremiah was a great prophet, ask them why Nebuchadnezzar would spare Jeremiah. Okay? But we are going to continue. We are going to continue with the reading for this morning. We are on to Jeremiah chapter 40. Get your book Bible or your Google Bible, guys. Let us continue. And when me tell you that I do not endorse any religion or any denomination, as a matter of fact, why would I endorse any particular religion or denomination when all of them reading the same Bible and they cannot agree? Look how many denominations exist. And everybody claiming a little tweak of the Bible is their truth, and a little tweak of the Bible is their truth, and a little tweak of the Bible is the other one's truth, and everybody claiming that they have the truth, and everybody preaching, quote unquote, the same gospel, but they cannot agree. I don't want me if you pick sides with one of uno and agree with one of uno and say, oh yeah, Adventist right, Baptist right, Anglican right, Catholic right, whichever one, uno can't even agree amongst yourself. Me not getting another cat fight, you don't know. So I don't endorse any religion, and I don't endorse any denomination. When you can agree amongst yourself and say, well, we are serve the same God, we are read the same Bible, so therefore we are going to be one, then uno might be able to get my support. And I say might be able to get my support. But if that cannot happen amongst uno cannot convince me that I must drop everything and come join uno, come sit down with uno no Saturday and no Sunday in under uno roof, in uno building. If it claims that me I sing and pray with uno and all these things. Anyway, let us continue. We are on to Jeremiah. Uno stop texting me, please. Don't text me and ask me nothing. Don't ask me nothing but no religious beliefs. I don't believe in religion. Religion is the most divisive and the most cruel invention ever. Understand? Religion caused the most wars and the most death, and yet religion continues to claim to be the most loving. Ain't that the same thing as in the Bible? The Bible talks about how the most instances of death and destruction, and yet it is the same Bible that is espousing all the love and peace and care. What a conflict. All right. Just that takes me as my foolishness. Let us continue. Jeremiah chapter 40. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord. After that, Jeremiah said the word come from the Lord. Jeremiah says so. I don't believe Jeremiah one bit. But anywho, Jeremiah chapter 40 says, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord. After that, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had let him go from Ramah, when he had taken him, being bound in chains among all that were carried away captive of Jerusalem and Judah, which were carried away captive into Babylon. And the captain of the guard took Jeremiah and said unto him, the Lord thy God hath pronounced this evil upon this place. Now the Lord hath brought it, and done according as he hath said, because he hath sinned against the Lord, and have not obeyed his voice. Therefore this thing is come upon you. And now, behold, I loose thee this day from the chains which were upon thine hand. If it seem good unto thee to come with me into Babylon, come, and I will look well unto thee. But if it seem ill unto thee to come with me into Babylon, forbear. Behold, all the land is before thee. Whether it seemeth good and convenient for thee to go, thither go. Now while he was not yet gone back, he said, go back also to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, whom the king of Babylon hath made governor over the cities of Judah, and dwell with him among the people, or go wheresoever it seems convenient for you to go. So the captain of the guard gave him victuals and a reward, and let him go. So Jeremiah got a reward from the Babylonians. Why you think the Babylonians give Jeremiah a reward? If Jeremiah wasn't working for them, why you think they gave him a reward? Think about it. They gave Jeremiah a reward. I know me say, people, it's right here in Jeremiah chapter 40 and verse 5. They gave Jeremiah a reward for his work against the Jewish people in favor of the Babylonians. And they tell him he can go anywhere. Look ahead of you, Jeremiah. You can go anywhere. Choose anywhere you want to choose to go live and go. If you want to come to Babylon with us, you are welcomed. If you want to stay here in Jerusalem, you can stay. You can stay anywhere. Choose anywhere you want to go to live. Jeremiah worked for them, and now he has been rewarded, because now Nebuchadnezzar has been able to take over Jerusalem, to knock down the walls, to slay the princes, and to take over. Either take the Jews captive or drive them out. You hear he said he left the poor people. That means the people who are old and lame and can't do nothing. They don't prove to be any threat to his reign. They won't be able to reconfigure and get the walls of Jerusalem rebuilt because they are too old. But Jeremiah, having fulfilled whatever agreement he had with Nebuchadnezzar, is now rewarded. Verse 6. Then went Jeremiah unto Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, to Mizpah, and dwelt with him among the people that were left in the land. Now, when all the captains of the forces which were in the fields, even they and their men, heard that the king of Babylon had made Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, governor in the land, and had committed unto him men and women and children, and of the poor of the land, of them that were not carried away captive to Babylon. Then they came to Gedaliah to Mizpah, even Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and Johanan, and Jonathan, the sons of Kareah, and Seraiah, the son of Tanhumeth, and the sons of Ephai, the Netophathite, and Jezaniah, the son of Mahachathite, they and their men. And Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, swear unto them and to their men, saying, Fear not to serve the Chaldeans, dwell in the land, and serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be well with you. Yeah, you will gain favors. You will be all right if you serve Nebuchadnezzar. But if you go against him, whatever happened to the others before you is what will happen to you. But it will be well with you if you serve him. Verse 10. As for me, behold, I will dwell at Mizpah to serve the Chaldeans, which will come unto us. But ye, gather ye wine and summer fruits and oil, and put them in your vessels, and dwell in your cities that ye have taken. Likewise, when all the Jews that were in Moab, and among the Ammonites, and in Edom, and that were in all the countries, heard Now, why were the Jews in these places? Jappy, bless up yourself. How are you doing, my love? Blessings to you, Jappy. All right, we're going to continue. Now, why were the Jews scattered about in Moab? In Edom? Because they were running away from persecution. So they had scattered all over. Now, when they hear that the Babylonians had come, had conquered, taken, killed everybody and all, let's see what's going to happen. Now, I'm not going to tell you no. I'm going to read it for you all. The amazing M&G is here. Bless up yourself, my dear sister. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. We are on to verse 10 of chapter 40 of the book of Jeremiah. Let me read that again. As for me, behold, I will dwell at Mizpah to serve the Chaldeans, which will come unto us. But gather ye wine and summer fruits and oil, and put them in your vessels, and dwell in your cities that ye have taken. Likewise, when all the Jews that were in Moab, and among the Ammonites, and in Edom, and that were in all the countries, heard that the king of Babylon had left a remnant of Judah, and that he had set over them Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, even all the Jews returned out of all the places whither they were driven, and came to the land of Judah, to Gedaliah, unto Mizpah, and gathered wine and summer fruits very much. Moreover, Johanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces that were in the fields, came to Gedaliah, to Mizpah, and said unto him, Dost thou certainly know that Baalis, the king of the Ammonites, hath sent Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, to slay thee? Let a conspiracy start again. Another conspiracy has begun. Let's read that. Moreover, Johanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces that were in the fields came to Gedaliah, to Mizpah. Now remember, Gedaliah is appointed by Nebuchadnezzar to rule Jerusalem. All right. Just to make sure those of you who are just coming, or those of you who are not following well. And he said unto him, this is Johanan talking to Gedaliah now, and said unto him, Dost thou certainly know that Baalis, the king of the Ammonites, has sent Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, to slay thee? But Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, believed them not. Then Johanan, the son of Kareah, spake to Gedaliah in Mizpah secretly, saying, Let me go, I pray thee, and I will slay Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and no man shall know it. Wherefore should he slay thee, that all the Jews which are gathered unto thee shall be scattered, and the remnant in Judah perish? Now, remember, these people are from Babylon, you know. They are for Babylon. Gedaliah is appointed by Nebuchadnezzar. And so all these captains that are beside him were appointed by Nebuchadnezzar. So the fact that they were appointed by Nebuchadnezzar, that's where their loyalty is. They are loyal to Nebuchadnezzar. They are not loyal to the Jewish people, even though they are Jews. You understand? We are going to continue. Let's read verse 15 again. What Johanan, the son of Keresh, said to Gedaliah. Then Johanan, the son of Kareah, spake to Gedaliah in Mizpah secretly, saying, Let me go, I pray thee, and I will slay Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and no man shall know it. Wherefore should he slay thee, that all the Jews which are gathered unto thee should be scattered, and the remnant in Judah perish? Verse 16, and this is the last verse of chapter 40 of the book of Jeremiah. But Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, said to Johanan, the son of Kareah, Thou shalt not do this thing, for thou speakest falsely of Ishmael. So you see how this man here plotting to slay Ishmael, claiming that Ishmael was sent to Jerusalem to slay Gedaliah. But Gedaliah don't believe it. And he will not give Johanan permission to go slay Ishmael. We are going to continue with the reading of the Bible. We will continue tomorrow morning. Join me again sometime tomorrow morning when we will be continuing the reading from the book of Jeremiah. We'll be reading chapters 41 and 42 tomorrow as we continue to read and try to understand the context of the Bible. If you still believe that Jeremiah, excuse me guys, if you are one of those people who still believe that Jeremiah was this great prophet, I am not here to unconvince you, but just keep coming back as we continue to read the Bible for ourselves, because we're not making up any stories. We are reading it straight out of the good book. The same book that everybody else claim is such a great book and all the writings to be true and to be inspired by God. That's where we are reading from. And Trev here isn't making up anything. Okay? I'm reading it out of the good book. And Jeremiah, the Confederate officer working undercover for the Babylonians, has now been rewarded handsomely rewarded for his efforts against the Jewish people in favor of the Babylonians. Join me again tomorrow morning, guys. Join me again tomorrow morning when we will continue with the reading of the book of Jeremiah. I want to say thanks to everybody who came into the live this morning. Thanks to those of you who contributed by commenting. Those of you, I know some people don't know what to comment because they're afraid of blasphemy. They don't want to agree with what the Bible says. They'd rather continue hiding under the bushel. Yes, claiming that everything in the Bible is true and everything in the Bible is honestly written. They don't want to ask any question because they're so afraid that just asking a question might get them condemned to their proverbial hell. So they don't want to ask questions. They just want to continue being led. Being led. Lead me like a sheep, everybody. Pastor Sunday morning, Pastor Saturday morning. Lead me like a sheep. I am here to be led. Show a rope around my neck and lead me, lead me, lead me. Because anything you tell me is what I'm going to believe, because I will never pick up the Bible and read it for myself in order to get my own understanding. In order to understand it. Some of the things in the Bible I understand is confusing. Sometimes you are wondering, like, what is this person talking about? What is it? What is it? You have to do a little additional research to find out what they're talking about sometimes. But the majority of what's written in the Bible, not clear English for you to understand. And don't come at me, come to me about because the Bible has been translated several times. Which translation are you using? I bet you're using the King James Version, the same one that I am using. So if you have a book that you are reading and you can't understand it, you are not understanding it, but you're still following it blindly, we'll get you another version. Maybe you might understand another version better. But since this is the version that I am reading, this is the understanding that I am getting from what I am reading. Okay? So anyway, enough of the blabbing, church. All right. So once again, thanks to everybody who came in. The amazing Sister M&G, you are so welcome, my love. You are sincerely welcome. AG, Jappy, Jamaica's Farmers Hut, Kim, Joe, Card, Winsome, everybody else who came into the live. Welcome. Thank you all so much. I sincerely appreciate you all. And those of you on the talk who came in, thank you all. Thank you for the loves and the likes. I appreciate it. If you came in on the tube and you did not hit the like button on your way in, guys, don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. We will continue this journey as we try to read and understand the Bible for ourselves. Until next time, my friends. This is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. You who choose to be tricked shall surely be tricked. He who choose to be tricked shall surely be tricked.